seventh President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
Days. Order on. Days. On. Come.
Arms. On. Cover. Yeah, on. Cover.
Ladies and gentlemen, please.
Arms. On. Cover. Staff, on. Cover.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the invocation by the United States Military Academy Chaplain, Colonel David Bolus.
25. We thank you for bringing each graduate to this major milestone today. We thank you especially for your presence when they were plebes under pressure, for providing patience as they learn to lead as yearlings, for their commitment and courage to affirm as cows, and for faithful friends who will finish together as firsties. And just as you have been faithful in the past, be their ever-present help in the future. Thank you for the teammates around them, their family and friends, instructors and sponsors, tax and trainers, mentors, and yes, even their tormentors, who stood with them over the last 4 years. Through them, you ensured these West Point graduates are prepared to lead America's sons and daughters in peacetime and in war. Bless this ceremony today with your presence. Bless our president as he leads and inspires us. And God bless the United States of America. In your holy name, I pray. Amen.
As. Take seats.
Please be seated.
The President observes a moment of silence.
Right shoulder up.
The wreath is now being placed by the president.
Order! Right shoulder up.
The president has paused for a moment of silence. Please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the invocation and the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, the 45th and the 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, accompanied by the Vice President, the Secretary of Defense, and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
I don't know why it keeps cutting out, you guys. Not sure what that's about. Don't remove my free speech, Team YouTube.
Days. Order. On. Days. On. Come.
Arms! On! Cover! Yeah, on. Cover.
Ladies and gentlemen, please.
Arms! On! Cover! Staff, on. Cover.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the invocation by the United States Military Academy Chaplain, Colonel David Bolus.
25. We thank you for bringing each graduate to this major milestone today. We thank you especially for your presence when they were plebes under pressure, for providing patience as they learned to lead as yearlings, for their commitment and courage to affirm as cows, and for faithful friends who will finish together as firsties. And just as you have been faithful in the past, be their ever-present help in the future. Thank you for the teammates around them, their family and friends, instructors and sponsors, tax and trainers, mentors, and yes, even their tormentors, who stood with them over the last 4 years. Through them, you ensured these West Point graduates are prepared to lead America's sons and daughters in peacetime and in war. Bless this ceremony today with your presence. Bless our president as he leads and inspires us. And God bless the United States of America. In your holy name, I pray. Amen.
As take seats.
Please be seated.
The president observes a moment of silence.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Right shoulder up.
The wreath is now being placed by the president.
Please hit that like if you haven't yet. Appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out. Team YT, don't shut down my free speech again, please. And I still need my playlist back. Hell, I still need my channel back to normal. It still ain't back to normal since they removed my channel a few days ago. Supposed to be back to normal between 24 and 48 hours, and we're hitting like 60 hours. Still ain't back to normal. It's ridiculous. I didn't even do nothing. Free speech. Thank you, Lisa. Yes. Thank you to all who served 250 years, fathers, brothers, sisters, mothers. We love you, respect you all. Thank you so much. We wouldn't be here without you. Oh, 250 years. This is a birthday for our military. Let's respect them. This is about the military. This is why we're here today. This is why I can get my channel back, because I didn't do anything wrong, because it is free speech. Thank you to all who served, all 250 years. You want to go bash somebody in a protest video. That's what the protests are for. The protests are meant to distract from the attention that our military soldiers deserve. Shame on them. Shame on them who try and distract from the real reason why we are celebrating today.
Order! Right shoulder!
Shame on them. Shame on them. This is about our military birthday, and for anybody that wants to distract from that,
The president has paused for a moment of silence.
shame on them. This is why we're here today, is because of our military. Respect the uniform. I woke up pissed off today.
Please be seated.
I'm sorry. This is about our military and our soldiers. And shout out. Thank you, Sandy, and thank your daddy for that. Shame on them. Have your protest any other time. This is not the time. This is the time to respect the uniform. We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for any one of
Ladies
those.
and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the invocation and the national anthem.
All right, and I'm just going to show you guys. It's going to be playing different clips, but I also have the live feed over here for you guys to see. Let me pull that up for you right there. We got the live feed going for whenever it pops off. We're going to be hanging out here going through these.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 45th and the 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, accompanied by the Vice President, the Secretary of Defense, and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
How do you feel out here being a part of this 250th birthday?
It's really, really great. This is probably, I don't know if it's the actual biggest celebration we've ever done, but it is a big celebration. It's a great time.
Okay, so let's talk about the 160th. You might see on social media, they do a lot of cool videos of their helicopters. They got their little birds. They've got MH6. You've probably seen them. If you don't follow them on social media, you need to do so because they've got some great content. But there's so much that goes into the 160th SOAR. Just talk about the regiment for people that don't know what the 160th does.
First of all, first off, truth. We're people first. So we take care of our people so they can do the dynamic jobs that we ask them to do.
All right,
we
that
are the
music.
world's premier precision rotary wing asset that our government has.
I got to turn it down just because of the music. Hold on.
So we work hard. We train hard. We expect the highest caliber of execution from all of our individuals.
I got to be a part of just a little bit of your training. I got to sit in the jump seat yesterday on one of your helicopters, and it's an incredible viewpoint. I mean, for you all, you're aviators, you get to see that view every day, but looking through the windows of a cockpit, seeing the formations, because they
I just have to do this because of the music, you guys.
250th birthday parade. Do you ever get used to that feeling of flying?
Well, yes, absolutely do. We expect our people to be very used to.
That's true. Yeah. I guess they shouldn't be nervous. I wasn't nervous. I was just really amped and excited.
I'd have to say every time you change the situation, the anxiety might go up just based on situation or mission. However, the basics of flying is what we're great at. That's why we're so great, is because we master the basics.
Okay, so let's talk about it. There is a training, there is a assessment program to be able to join the 160th. It's called the Green Platoon. You can't just walk in off basic training and join the 160th. You guys have the best of the best. Talk about that.
Yeah, so at the training battalion, we do an officer Green Platoon and an enlisted Green Platoon. Those two courses are the first introduction to being a Night Stalker that any of our guys get and gals. They will get a 5-week course on pretty much shoot, move, communicate, but we're really looking at how well they become teammates and good players. So after they do that, then they'll move on to their initial training for their aircraft, and then on to any other company after that. Of course, our aircraft are very specialized, so we have to train in-house for that as well.
You mentioned being
I'm just
a part
getting
of
all
a
the
team, and it's not just the
excuse me.
pilots when you're
I'm just getting all the different
there
feeds up here.
are so many different aspects of a crew, of a helicopter crew. Talk about that.
The reason we send everyone to Green Platoon is because the proximity of the X does not dictate where you line up on the team. There's no OML. There's no one more important than anyone else. So we have to make sure that base knowledge and that executable skill is known. And then we move from there.
Sergeant Maynard, you have how many years now in the Army?
25.
25 years in the Army. You've probably seen a lot. You've done a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Why did you choose this uniform? What's your Army story?
It's a funny story. I actually graduated from Appalachian State University, and I needed to pay off some school loans.
Love that.
The Montgomery GI Bill was a thing, and I followed that. I didn't know the difference between an officer, a warrant officer, or an enlisted person. So I joined to pay off some school loans, and in the time 9/11 happened, and that changed the dynamic of everything. Had multiple opportunities to probably transition to a different, go O or go E. I decided to stay enlisted because I loved this regiment. I still love this regiment. And working for the people that we work for and the teams that we do, I couldn't find a better place to have job satisfaction. The mission, we're making strategic impacts. We're reporters such as yourself. We're probably reporting on us.
Thank you,
while we were still
Pat.
getting after the targets.
Good prayers.
Any regrets, or would you do it all over again?
I would do it twice. I would do it again, no doubt. I wouldn't change a thing. Not only does the USAA SOCOM enterprise provide for me and my family, but my regiment has taken good care of everyone that's going out there and pushed for them. So I can't be more happy with the decisions I've made.
It goes back to that first soft truth: humans over hardware. People matter. I want to ask you, I keep asking all of our guests, but if someone out there is watching this feed,
I have
and
to
they're
play
kind of on
music
the
while they're
fence,
playing
but
music.
something
I
you said
apologize,
kind of
guys.
pulled at them, what is your message?
We'll
to
go
that
to a
person
different
who
feed
might
here in a
think,
second.
Hey, should I take a look at special operations?
I don't know how many times in my career I have looked around and said, I can't believe I'm doing this and getting paid to do it. If that alone, like I've been so many places all over the world, and I'm looking back, look where I'm at right now. I'm getting paid to be here. I couldn't find more job satisfaction. I couldn't find a better team. Couldn't.
Thank you so much, Major. I appreciate. And like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, if you don't follow the 160th SOAR recruiting on social media, you need to, because the videos that they post of their helicopters in the sky are something that everybody should see. And if you're going to watch tonight at 6:30, the 250th birthday parade is happening, and you will see the 160th. I think it's 6 aircraft. Is that right? 6 aircraft. 8 aircraft will be over top the parade. You're just going to see the precision, the accuracy, the lethality of the Night Stalkers. You don't want to miss that. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back to you in a little bit.
All right, let's take a live look at all the people coming in. Give me 1 second. We got a bunch of different feeds up now. Let me see here. Let's see. We got a crowd. That's pretty neat. They're letting you get on the Humvees and stuff. That's pretty cool. You got the line outside, people gathering. That's the live look. It's about to pop off. There's actually, let me switch to this here.
Where we need to get you home now. And just the ability to swap out leadership position and get on a plane within a few hours really speaks to the high quality of the special operations community and how they put family so high up in the importance that I was able to be home to be by my wife's side when she was going through a medical issue, and then really just keep moving forward back to the battle space when the time was right. And I was lucky to see all 3 kids born. The unit always made sure that you were home for really important events, and I think that's what really hooked me and made me stay in that community as long as I did.
Yeah. I mean, talking about the family life aspect of the military, something I know all too well, but from your perspective, being out there, on the battlefield, or in your case, potentially up in the air from that vantage point, what is that like when you're gone from your family for so long and limited contact? I'd love to hear your perspective from that.
Well, the units I was with were always really good about making sure we had, connection, but we had really, as a unit and as an organization, really prepared our families for the worst, which was our families knew that when we were forward, we needed to know that our families back home were taken care of, which then freed us from those fears and those worries, and it allowed us to focus on the mission that we had to complete. So I gotta say, I really didn't worry much about my family. And I was in a rotation cycle where I was gone for 60, 70 days and home for 30 or 60. And so I never really experienced a super long break, which seems really nice, but it was hard on the family to be gone for a short period of time and back. They never really got into any sort of routine because Dad was home, Dad was away, Dad was home, Dad was away. So it was just a different experience, I think, than a lot of other Army people got to experience during the height of all of the combat that we saw for the last 24 years.
Yeah. This got me thinking, because I was just thinking of all the different places you've deployed to or you've been stationed at. Do you have a favorite home base that you had for serving in the Army? I know for me, albeit it is Fort Bragg, I just have so many good memories from growing up there that look, Fort Bragg, it does have its love-hate relationship with a lot of folks, but I do love Fort Bragg. Part of me does.
Yeah, I will say between Fort Bragg and Fort Campbell were probably our favorite postings. Okay. We didn't live on post until I was a senior officer. So for my kids, they just absolutely loved living on Fort Campbell and really had a great time living on Fort Bragg. So from an Army family perspective, I think those were our favorites. Moving to MacDill Air Force Base and a joint assignment here in Tampa, my family was so far removed from the military aspect of it that it's like we weren't even in the Army at that point. But I would say Fort Bragg and Fort Campbell hold the highest esteem.
Yeah. I think
Now,
I still have some
my
very
wife's
vivid-
favorite,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
my wife's favorite, Hunter Army Airfield, Savannah, Georgia. She would move back there in a heartbeat if she could.
Okay, I was going to say I have some very vivid memories of your wife, me, my mom at Fort Bragg and at the Officers' Wives Club, the pool over there. So
Right.
I remember that from back in the day. Let's transition a little bit. I want to talk to you about during your military career, as long as it was, can you speak to the importance of what was impressed upon you?
Good morning, good afternoon.
Camaraderie, the brotherhood of the Army.
Thank you all for
Yeah,
your service.
absolutely.
Shout out.
And it started right
military.
away. 82nd Airborne Division, it was all about discipline and standards and accountability. And I think it ingrained in me what was important to make sure that I had myself prepared and taken care of so that nobody else had to worry about me and I'd be a valued member of the team. And I think the core values that I was instilled upon by my parents were further brought out in that time in the 82nd Airborne Division. Just being allowed to lead, coach, train, and mentor, and then be held to a high expectation, I think was everything for me. And it wasn't that I was lacking it in my life. It really resonated with me. And so it became fun. It became just who I was.
And a lot of that you've instilled in your 3 kids as well, right?
Well, you try. Each kid's a little bit different and they're at different stages in their life. But, one of the mottos that drives him absolutely crazy is one that I lived by for almost my entire time in the military, which was plus or minus 30 seconds. So to this day, I don't think we've ever been on time for anything as a family, but not for lack of trying.
Plus or minus 30 seconds. That was the saying, right? I think you might have cut off a little bit. Plus or minus 30 seconds.
Yep,
Love
absolutely.
it.
Plus
Love
or minus
it.
30 seconds.
That's so fun. So look, you oversaw a lot in your recent time at MacDill Air Force Base. Like you said, you kind of are there in that Tampa area, kind of distanced from the main military base because it's not as much of a community, I guess you would say, based on my experience in that area, as well as in the Fort Bragg area and other communities in the military. So I guess what was that like for you, kind of not being in the midst of what is your traditional Army base?
Great question. There's a lot of family at MacDill Air Force Base. The refueling wing is a tremendous organization. You just have 2 big 4-star component command headquarters there. And so, it's a lot of staff officers, churning day in and day out. So there isn't a lot of like on-post family camaraderie for those of us that were in those positions. So we missed that a little bit, but we found it in our community where we had eventually, bought a house and are living in, because about a third of the neighborhood is active duty or retired military. So the camaraderie is there. But from a staff officer position, you're not in charge of any soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines. You're just kind of, working for the man and producing what it is they need to facilitate success of the organization. So it's just a different perspective. But there's still a lot of military camaraderie in the MacDill Air Force Base
I love that.
family there.
So how long have you been, I guess, retired now? And it took you a while before you finally retired too, right?
Yeah, it took me several attempts to retire before I was allowed. Well, I guess, you get in a position where there aren't a lot of you or your type. They kind of hold on to you for a while. But I eventually retired after 28 years in 2023. And so I've been a civilian since March 1st of 2023.
And what's that been like for you?
It's different. I will be blatantly honest with you. Knowing that your military family has your back at all times is something you kind of forget because it's there all the time. You're not competing against each other. It's not cutthroat and dog eat dog. The minute you step out in the civilian community and in sales, it is, you lose a good portion of that. Now, if you're blessed and lucky, you will find an organization to work for that shares that value. And that's what I was lucky to find. And then in my job, I get to give back to veterans, which is spectacular. So my job is part-time sales, mostly full-time support to veterans, which is awesome.
Yeah, and a lot of the, I guess, unique traits that you learned in the Army can be transitioned and used in civilian life. I've heard that from countless veterans that have made that transition. I mean, what would you have to say about that?
Yeah, I agree. Discipline, standards, reliability, honesty, commitment, trustworthiness, all of those things that were instilled upon us in order to succeed in the Army are front and center in my engagements on a daily basis. And sadly, I find that that's not always the case in the career field that I chose. So to be able to stand out as somebody that people can trust, can go to, whether there's a sale there or not, they know that they can trust you to give you honest feedback and to support them. That's really been the basis of who I've wanted to be post-military.
Yeah, I love all of that, and I love to see this new transition of life for you and Adrian and your family and all the kids. Now that we've talked a little bit about you, I want to talk to you about, I guess, the Army on a bigger scheme here in regards to what you think attracts people to the Army. We learned about your story and what, you said, I was just a kid out of college, just trying to find something to do. But, what is it about the Army that you think is attractive? Is that what it is? It's a good place for people that are looking for some sort of stability, some sort of oversight, and a good place for them to kind of get their foot in the door and really see where the possibilities take them.
Yeah, I think you nailed part of it. I mean, there's 1,000 reasons why someone wants to join or would join. I mean, family history is a big thing, grandfather, father, son, daughter. I know a lot of people who follow in their parents' footsteps because they realize that the military community is going to take care of them, and there's great opportunities to learn. But then there's also those that are maybe looking for structure, looking for purpose, looking for opportunity, or just flat out don't know what they want to do and just need someone to help guide them. The Army's a great place to do that. I mean, I don't know how many military occupational specialties there are today, but there is cutting edge in what's going on in our world today than ever before. Being a helicopter pilot was just thrilling for me. It's what I wanted to do since my parents used to park off the runway of the airfield in Chicago where I was born. In order to get me to fall asleep, they'd have to go sit out on the approach end of Midway and watch airplanes take off and land. And so aviation was in my blood from the earliest. Not everybody has the luxury of knowing what they want to do, and picking an Army option gives them so many different outlets. So it's a mixed bag, but it's a great opportunity for everybody, to find themselves, whether it's in the Army to stay in the Army or just one tour, become that veteran, benefit from being a veteran and knowing that you served your community, served your nation. That's something no one can take away from you.
Yeah, something to be immensely proud of. We've seen reports recently about the recruiting shortages, not only for the Army, but really across the board when it comes to all military branches. Any thoughts on why that may be? Are there challenges facing the Army that you see they could improve on? Maybe you can weigh in on what they've done right over the years. Any insight from you?
Well, I mean, what they've been doing right is they're doing the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. Discipline, standards, commitment, camaraderie, honesty, trustworthiness, all of the things we want our future leaders to be, our future adults to be. They continue to do that, and they will do that for the next 250 years. Why is a recruiting challenge? I mean, there's a lot has gone on over the last 4 or 5, 6 years. I'm clearly out of the Army now, so I don't know what those challenges are, but I think our nation took a step back and maybe lost themselves a little bit. And I think they're starting to find themselves a little bit. Budgetary constraints are always present, and there may have been budgetary constraints that, reducing budgets may have spooked people from joining the service. But in the end, we need a strong military. We need the defense of our nation, both foreign and domestic, and we need to be able to staff those ranks to make sure that we're capable of meeting the nation's needs. I don't think there's been a time in history that is any better or any worse to join the service. I think now is a great opportunity. And I just recently helped 2 young men get into the service that were struggling with getting into the service. All they did is reach out and said, this is what I want to do. And I reached out to people that I knew, and they were able to help them get in and start their military careers as well. So that was really rewarding for me.
Oh, wow. I love that. Thanks for sharing that with us. Yeah, as we kind of wrap up here, I want to ask you, what do you want people to take away from this milestone birthday for the Army? I mean, celebrating 250 years, to be a part of that history yourself. What do you want people at home to take away from this?
Wow, that's a great question. I think to take away that 250 years of strength, of courage, of commitment, of trustworthiness, honor, discipline, standards is probably, we are the core values for the nation. I think the Navy, the Marine Corps, the Air Force, all the services they espouse that in some way, shape, or form. But I think, that standing land army is key to the success and power of this great nation. And we want to make sure that everybody feels a part of that.
Yeah. Anything you want to add in regards to, the legacy, the contributions of your fellow past and present and future soldiers as well, including those 2 young men you mentioned you helped? Every person is a part of the legacy. Every person that serves is a part of that legacy, whether they serve, 1 tour or they retire. Everybody's legacy is a part of that success and a part of our nation's success ultimately. So, get in, make the best of it, take what you can for yourself and give back everything you have. The nation will be thankful and the nation will be stronger for it. Awesome. Brad, anything else you want to add?
No, it's been a pleasure watching you grow up since roller skating at the rink in Fayetteville, North Carolina when you were 7 to seeing you, married and off on your own wonderful life. You've been an inspiration to my daughter, who enters the University of Central Florida next Friday to study communications to be an anchor herself. So thank you for the influence you've had on our family.
Oh,
All right.
love you guys so much.
And honestly,
we're going to switch to some live feeds here. This is the line that's walking up here so far. Washington Capitol in the background there. We got people, they got different things on display. Oh, this is so cute. They got little kids out there playing in the grass too. This is the live feed of the stage. We're just waiting for everything to pop off. It's still going to be a little bit, obviously. But we're going to be hanging out, flipping through all the feeds. I wanted to show this real quick too. Hold on 1 second.
Participated. They span the entire history of our nation, from the Revolutionary War to the combat operations in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria. Decorated with palms, oak leaf clusters, and stars, they represent more than 400 awards and campaigns of the United States Marines. It is the privilege of Marine Barracks, Washington, D.C. to be entrusted with the custody of this battle color.
Close the doors!
Let me flip this around real quick.
Please be seated.
Sir, the parade is formed.
Take your post, sir.
Aw, poor kiddo. Thank you all for being here. StreamYard's being buggy here.
Attention to order! Marine Barracks, Washington, D.C. 6 June 2025. Officer of the Navy, Staff Sergeant 260. Officer of the Navy Tomorrow, Captain Flynn. Fire order of C.C. Benson, Colonel, United States Marine Corps. Commander of death, center, hush.
Good morning. Thank you, W.
Ceremonial at T. Now, ceremonial at T.
All right, let's take you over here real quick.
25. We thank you for bringing each graduate to this major milestone today. We thank you especially for your presence when they were plebes under pressure, for providing patience as they learned to lead as yearlings, for their commitment and courage to affirm as cows, and for faithful friends who will finish together as firsties. And just as you have been faithful in the past, be their ever-present help in the future. Thank you for the teammates around them, their family and friends, instructors and sponsors, tax and trainers, mentors, and yes, even their tormentors, who stood with them over the last 4 years. Through them, you ensured these West Point graduates are prepared to lead America's sons and daughters in peacetime and in war. Bless this ceremony today with your presence. Bless our president as he leads and inspires us. And God bless the United States of America. In your holy name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Take seats. Please be seated.
The president observes a moment of silence.
All right, let's head to some of the protest coverage here. 1 second.
People are saying this has been a peaceful event with upwards of 2,000 to 5,000 people here. We're going to send things back to you.
Interesting to see those crowds, and I'm sure it's tough to get numbers. It would be interesting to know how many actually were out there, because it's really hard to tell. I know in Daytona Beach, when we talked with Matt earlier, he said organizers were trying to give out stickers that they
Counting
had
of
to
sorts.
try to count. So we'll try to get an update on the number there. At least I don't know what the situation was in Brevard County, but obviously difficult to get hard and fast numbers and really judge the size of the crowd.
Totally.
We're going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back with more after this. And as we go to break here, let's show you this is.
Yes, and I'm glad you have me here today celebrating the Army's birthday. So happy birthday, U.S. Army. Glad to have been a part of so much of what you've done around the
Happy
world
birthday.
over my years in uniform. So a big hooah out to my Army friends and family today. Throughout the years, especially post 9/11, the U.S. military has done a lot in terms of joint operations, meaning the services working together. And so that's been a part of my service up until I retired a couple of years ago. But I've trained and deployed around the world with soldiers, with the Army in Afghanistan and Kuwait and Australia, Japan, and many other places, even here at home during Katrina response, 20 years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
So I've had plenty of opportunity to work with them, and even wore an Army uniform when I went to Afghanistan for a year because it was serving in an Army job, even though I was in the Navy.
Yeah.
So that's why somebody might find pictures of me online wearing an Army uniform that says Navy across the chest.
Yeah.
So a little odd, but plenty of experience working with the Army. They're a committed bunch, and their families are certainly committed and seriously back up our country and defend the homeland.
Yeah, love that. Look, I know you guys, as military, go back and forth with the different branches, kind of give each other a hard time here or there with each other. But nonetheless, like you said, you especially in today's day and age, share different responsibilities, work hand in hand with each other through a lot of what you do each and every day.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. We work a lot together. I ended my career at the Joint Staff in the Pentagon, which is truly joint. That's why it's called that. So you do the same jobs and you work together hand in hand.
Yeah.
But of course, you always have your rivalries. You see the annual Army Navy game that has everybody going against each other. But in the end, all these players and everybody in uniform in the Army and the Navy, they're willing to die for each other any day around the world, and they have, and they've made huge sacrifices. And so proud to serve alongside my Army brothers and sisters and everybody in all the other branches.
Yeah. Let's get into a little bit about the history of the Army and, just some of the different topics when it comes to the background of the Army. The challenges is what I wanted to ask you about. What you think challenges the Army has faced over the years in today's day and age and compared to years past?
I think if you look back, what sticks out a lot, my father-in-law was in the Navy during Vietnam, and so he experienced some things that a lot of the military did when they came back, and they weren't fully appreciated by the American public. And I think we made a big turn since then. Whereas in the post 9/11 conflicts, we've had a dramatic change in the way that Americans see their military, and they're very conscious of the way that America treated its military when they came back from Vietnam, and don't want to make that mistake again. And so that's been a big turnaround. But then the current challenges that we have, fast forward to now, is our quality of life concerns. We have the largest annual survey done of its kind, surveying active duty military and veteran families. And what our Army families have said is their top concerns are your quality of life concerns, are military spouse employment, are their children's education, are the time spent away from home, pay and benefits. Those are big things that we're working on now.
Here, we're going to go to a live feed here real quick.
Camaraderie from vets themselves to people who after service find community and shared struggles. So let's engage with the team right now. By all means, guys, come on out. I'm going to have you hold this.
One mic. Hi, chat.
There we go. All right. Hey, here's the team. I'm going to have you guys introduce yourself by all means.
Eli Double Tap from Unsubscribe.
Hi, I'm Nick, the Fat Electrician from Unsubscribe Podcast.
Brandon Herrera from the Unsubscribe Podcast.
I guess I'm Cody Garrett from the Unsubscribe Podcast.
I guess Cody. All right. Hey, so if you guys could take a moment, for those who may not have seen Unsubscribe Podcast, or not be familiar with who you guys are or what you guys do, can you please break it down?
It is a veteran-based podcast. Well, we're number 2 in the world now for veteran-based podcast. Dark comedy, history, and then just having a good time and trying to make people laugh. Amazing. Yeah, guest-based podcast. Amazing guests, too.
All right. So now, where are some notable, episodes, if you guys want to call it that you guys like to speak on?
Yeah, we got super lucky. We had a World War II veteran from Iwo Jima, Don Graves, come on.
Wow.
And it was one of the coolest experiences, at least of my life, being able to sit down and, to my shock, at, I believe, 101 at the time.
Yeah. Wow.
I believe
he was 99.
99, just turned 100. He was 99 years old, and he sat down and he drank a beer with us. And we still have that beer can. We still have that beer can in the shadow box in our background today. So that was super cool to see.
He was at the raising of the flag.
Wow. That's absolutely amazing.
We just did one at the Pentagon as well earlier this year, which was a crazy experience for pretty much all of us, I think.
Now, I guess, Cody, can you break that one down for us? How was that experience for you?
Yes, I am Cody. It was just a crazy experience because I know you guys, I mean, your time serving, I don't think you would have ever guessed that your career path would, lead you to the Pentagon, much less after you retired.
We took fake it till you make it to an extreme that most other people just haven't, Got out as an E4, and now on paper, technically, I'm the first person to chug a White Claw in the Pentagon. So there's that.
He's telling the truth.
Is that a recent feat?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've got the memorandum and everything framed on my wall.
That's good.
That's legit. They actually gave us a memorandum to drink at the Pentagon on camera. We were the first podcast, everything, to do that.
Well, that's amazing. Do you guys know the episode that was in?
If you look up Unsubscribe Podcast Pentagon, it's going to pop right up.
That's something you guys got to do.
Yeah.
Check it out.
100 something.
Yeah, so how long has this podcast been going on?
3.5 years, I believe. Yeah, I think we've been going about 3.5 years at this point.
Good morning, good afternoon. Happy birthday to our military.
Oh, man, we used to we would day drink while we were doing content, and then we're like, you know what we can do while we day drink? We can film it and then just talk about that. Well, we do that and then turn it into another business. We never actually thought it would go to this level. It was supposed to be fun. So this was, everyone does their own individual content and are crushing it. And then this was for fun. And then it just kept growing and growing until being here.
This is the
now,
live feed here.
Veteran podcast. Now that means there's something about you guys that speaks to the veteran or the service member or the civilian aspiring to be a service member. If each of you can speak on it, what do you think that is?
Brandon.
That's Cody.
Well, I think one of the things that brings people to unsubscribe, at least, is the dark humor and just the comedy and the idea of like it's just guys hanging out. There's a lot of comments we see left and right. They're like, guys, this was the hole that I was missing since I was in the service. Like I miss this banter. I miss this sort of irreverent back and forth with the boys. And like this is a hole that's in a lot of people's lives when they leave the service. And it's really cool to be able to just be a bunch of idiots filling that void,
We get lots of emails from people saying it feels like I'm back in the military again, just hanging out with the boys, having a couple of drinks, having a good time telling jokes. And we love it, man. We've helped a lot of people out with the podcast. How much do we raise for veterans?
Oh, we did $110,000 last year. Oh, in total, we've raised $500,000 for veterans.
Oh, wow.
Nonprofits. So, again, it shows the testament to the community that's been built, and then all the guys, because it is truly a mission we care for. It is, hey, how do we get back to this community that's given us so much?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're going for 250 this November.
So in November, you guys do another run of that?
Yeah.
All right. And what's the goal there? You said it's for veterans. Now, what's the aim for these funds? Like, is it to support veterans who are what?
We choose different groups every
year.
Yeah. A lot of medical PTSD. It is how do we help these service members or veterans that are in a dark spot that actually need something.
Good.
There's a lot of terrible nonprofits, and then there's a lot of nonprofits that just, it's like, hey, I'm going to take you horseback ride, and that's going to cure your PTSD.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah. So let's send these individuals to get actually like evaluated. Let's send them to psychology. Let's like get them therapy. Let's get them the help they need, and then start rebuilding from that, and then build that community based off of it, so they can then police each other in the same aspect.
Very nice, very nice. So what called each of you guys to service? So having served yourselves, what was the motivating factor to say, you know what, I'm going to raise my right hand, I'm going to try to pursue a career in the service?
I tried to be Army infantry. My mom talked me out of it, so I joined the Navy.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay.
I've come from a long line of military people. My grandpa, my dad, my mom, like everyone served, so I wanted to do it. And I just wanted to serve my country, be all that you can be.
There you go. There's nothing wrong with being a seaman. That's great.
Yeah,
I like the fact that-
I'm trying not to make so many jokes right now.
You're like,
Brandon, what brought you to serve?
Well, I never did serve. Just want to throw that out there real quick. But
so humble.
Despite what you might see in the chat, no, basically I grew up on Fort Bragg. Spent 25 years there because my family has a long history of military service. And it took me a very long time to realize that the military sense of humor wasn't normal, and people from other places thought it was a little odd or dark or inappropriate. But no, it's given me a lot of respect for what those guys do and what they deal with when they come home, and it brought me to all of a connection I've got with my friends who served, and it's just been rad ever since.
I mean, I just played with G.I. Joes and stuff growing up, played a lot of video games, thought I wanted to do that, and so signed up when I was still in high school, got college paid for. It's a great time, a lot of fun experiences. Recommend it to pretty much anybody.
They paid for your college.
They did. Actually, I
that's
did National
impressive.
Guard. They paid for it twice over.
It's amazing.
Worked out even better.
All right.
Man.
Eli's old. He has no reason.
I know. Yeah. I dropped out of high school. I was like, I want to do war. That sounds fun. Join joined the military, got shot, got out of the military. No, I joined just because I wanted to. Man, I hate that I say it. Video games are why I joined the military. That's why I went Army infantry. I was like, oh, I want to jump out of helicopters and planes and do the cool stuff.
Video games you like?
Metal Gear Solid, 100%.
You never got that P90.
I did not. Well, now I do. But after that, they were like, you have a GED. You cannot do any of that unless you. And then the recruiter's like, oh, just ace your PT score, shoot expert, and then they'll offer all that.
Didn't work out?
No.
Oh, boy.
And then I got out, but I've loved every second of it, and I'm glad I served. Like, truly, truly happy, especially with the relationships I built from that. Because as everyone knows, you still talk to your buddies that you served with like 15 years later, which is awesome.
Yeah. Now, I thank you guys for your guys' service and continued contribution to the force. And even not Cody, or I guess Cody, not having served, what you do now for the community is huge. So thank you for that as well. To the force, there's a message that maybe you guys have that you guys would like to give. We have an audience of 5,000+ at the moment live streaming this. So if you guys can speak to them, whether it be veterans currently in service or aspiring to be in service, is there a message you'd like to give them on today's Army's 250th birthday?
If you need a path in life where you feel lost, the military, the Army is a great choice. They will, they can put your life together. They will help give you, they will ground you, they will give you a mission, and then you will build a really good brotherhood or team around that. And I struggled at a lot of stuff, and I was like, I needed that. I needed the military to straighten me out. And then I took that outside. When I got out, it was, hey, now I can just do this. I can apply the same things I learned in the military with what I do now in business. I can lead from the front. I will always lead from the front, but because of that now, I don't get stressed out. I'm pretty sure none of us get stressed out really from the military experience. It's just you get a different look on life, and it's something I think everyone should try at least for 4 years, and free college.
You can't beat that.
Again, super weird. I was an electrician 3 years ago, and now I'm here, but I've been put in a really unique situation where I've gotten to talk to the highest levels of leadership in the United States Army right now, General George and his staff, Command Sergeant Major of the Army, and all of these guys are on the same page that they care almost exclusively about the dudes that are actually on the ground getting the job done. And they're doing everything they can to cut through bureaucracy and get everything done that needs to get done and improve on the things that have not been getting improved on for a long time. And it's really, really exciting to see as somebody that, you know, saw the struggles of bureaucracy and everything when I was in. And these guys are cutting through that. And I'm excited to see how awesome the Army is going to be in the coming years.
All right, let's switch to some live feeds here. So that was the live feed with the stage in the background. This is the line that's walking up. It's all pretty calm. Nothing crazy. You got people checking out the different displays. I think that's kind of neat. Oh, that's cool. They'll even take photos for you. Oh, that's neat. That's pretty cool. Look at that. They'll even take photos for you on your phone. That's awesome. Kind of explain it. That's kind of cool. Let's see here. Here's another shot of the line with the Capitol in the background.
A lot of people have written this in my lifetime. This one day are going to be in hell. And then after years, forever and ever and ever.
All right, this was moments ago in Tampa. See what's up.
I would say that it's important for people to realize that we are the superpower of this world. The way that things shift in here affects the rest of the world. And I mean, just free Palestine, pretty much. That's it.
And then you live here, so don't be passive, be active. If you live in this country, you should be able to appreciate what it takes to fight for the future of our country.
Yeah, sure. I think everybody should be exercising their rights like right now. Everybody should be outside who thinks that this should be happening and what is wrong and what is going wrong in the country, and should be out here, like I said, peacefully protesting.
So that was moments ago. This is now a live look in downtown Tampa. You see a lot of signs there at the protest. Pretty big sized crowd there as well.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen some Trump flags too, and we see American flags, we've seen some Palestinian flags, Ukrainian flags. So there's definitely a mixed bag of people that are showing up to these. And, you know, there is some expletives that we saw on the screen a few minutes ago. So we want to, again, remind people that viewer discretion is advised. These are live protests. You don't really know what we're going to get all the time. So we do our best to make sure that our cameramen and women are being careful. But yeah, that's what you're looking at now is a mixed group of people. We've seen, like I mentioned, both.
Yeah, and throughout the United States, for the most part, it's been pretty peaceful, pretty small. I've been checking out the different feeds. Let me see here. Let's go ahead and switch to this one here real quick. We'll go back to that live feed in a second.
Go and come all the time, and you don't see what the Army means to people because you just do your job. You don't join the Army to be famous. You don't join the Army to be rich. You join it because you're a patriot and you love your country. So you never see what you do. You never see what people say thank you to you because you don't do it for that. You do it for love of country and family and God. So when you see people coming into this, it made you realize, you know, it was worth it. It was worth it 25 years doing this, day in and day out. It was worth to be away from home. It was worth it to be away from family. But when you come to place like this, make you think, you know, it was worth it. No regrets, never one.
Any last words you guys want to say about our military as a whole, the legacy of our nation's soldiers and military family as well?
Well, I just wish the best of luck to those that are deployed that are here with us now, to stay safe, and to those military families. We've been there with you. We support you, and we just hope that everything will continue to march on in the best of ways.
Always where the Army sends you.
Exactly. Home is where the Army sends you. Rebecca, Guy, Aldemar, thank you guys so much for joining us here on Fox 5.
Thank you.
All right, let's get back to some of those shout outs as well. Let me grab my phone real fast and look at some of these shout outs that have been coming in. You guys have been doing great. This one, I believe, is from Gemma Benavides, who sent us these photos saying that Gemma served post 9/11 in the Navy from 2001 to 2005. Grateful for her active duty service because she not only helps protect citizens of the United States, but also used her GI Bill in order to study ultrasonography. Post-military service, used it to keep providing services to the community. She's also grateful because of her military service that this is what helped her become a U.S. naturalized citizen. So thank you for sending us that shout out. Another one from Sharon Day, who sent us this photo of her grandfather, George Scott Drew the fifth, I believe, or maybe the sixth, says that she served in the United States Marine Corps, World War I and World War II. And also a shout out to her father, Norman O'Day, who served in the Navy, saying that they appreciate their service as well, re-enlisted several times. So those are some great photos we are seeing as well. She said that her father was stationed at Pearl Harbor when it was attacked by the Japanese. Wow, that's incredible. Spent the entirety of World War II on a minesweeper in the South Pacific. And then we've got another shout out from Janiyah Ashley, sending a shout out to her husband, Specialist Ryan Ashley. She says, "We love you, appreciate your constant sacrifices and hard work." Some great photos there of Janiyah and her husband and their baby. Again, send us those shout outs.
38 Golf Series, Civil Affairs. So I have two outstanding officers with me. We got Captain Wagner and Captain Drosty. He told me to call him Drosty Frosty. So, sir, by all means, ma'am, here you go. And here you guys go. Take it away.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you. Hey, YouTube. I'm Captain Wagner. This is Captain Drosty. And we're going to talk
Welcome.
to you a little bit about the Army Reserve today.
Cannot wait. 38 golfs.
38 Golf Series. So
Unique opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are part of USAA 38 Golf Program, which is a newer program to direct commission civilian expertise into the Army. So Captain Drosty, will you tell me a little bit about what you do in the civilian world?
Gladly. First, a shout out to Gabriel, Alexis, and my 106 DCC crew. So my name's Captain Drosty from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm a 38 Golf P9, which is finance, markets, etc. Lawyer by training, work at a financial firm in Boston. I've only really worked in the financial sector and saw an opportunity through the 38 Golf program to serve my country. Essentially weekend warrior, right? And the ability to take my skills at this point in my career, in my life, with the support of my wife, and to be able to, again, serve my country and maintain the job that I have. And it's a unique opportunity, amazing opportunity. We essentially act like consultants for the Army, and I'm so appreciative of the opportunity every single day. What about you, Captain Wagner? What's your
Yeah.
story?
So I have been a part of the military community for quite some time. My husband is actually active duty, so he is Navy. Go Army. He is Navy Lieutenant Commander Kyle Wagner, and he is a doctrinal analyst at Strategic Command. So I've been a spouse for a long time, but the opportunity came up to come and to serve and to be a soldier. And I'm a 38 Golf 6 Victor. So I'm a Heritage and Preservation Officer. You may know us a little bit better as the Modern Monuments Men, the new iteration of the Monuments, Fine Arts, and Archives program.
Go see the movie.
Yeah, go see the movie. 2014, I think that movie came out. It's a
2012,
good one.
2013,
If you haven't watched it. So in the civilian world, I work in museums. I work for a Smithsonian affiliate museum, the Durham Museum.
I like how
Shout
they're
out to
doing all
Durham.
these different interviews. You can kind of learn
I've worked in
about
a broad
each, you know.
a broad variety of roles in museums, development, education, administration, and now I do a niche sort of research in cultural property protection. So that's what we do as heritage and preservation officers, but cultural property protection in relation to humanitarian crimes. So that's why I kind of got brought into the 38 Golf program. So it's just been a fun opportunity to sort of go from being a spouse, being a military mom, and now I'm a soldier. It's been great.
Yeah, in I think so in the 38G program we have about a dozen or so specialties. It allows the Army to pull from the private sector those that have their finger on the pulse at all times, given their industry expertise, to be able to pull back and to be able to bring those folks in to consult with, and for us to leverage our pools of human capital as well, so that we can reach back if ever we know experts that can opine on a particular scenario. It's a really, really unique opportunity. Look it up, 38 Golf 38G program through the Army Reserve. You'll thank me later.
Yes, it's an excellent and unique opportunity to come and be a part of the Army and use your civilian career while also serving at the same time. So at this time, we would love to bring up some of our other 38 Golfs. We have a few other 6 victors, monuments men, heritage and preservation officers here with us. So they are about to come on screen. Yep.
Total studs.
We've got Captain Ammerman.
Why don't we bring up Amherst first?
Good afternoon. And Major Swindell and Captain Ortiz, we are all 38 Golf 6 Victor Heritage and Preservation Officers.
Hi, my name's Major Swindell. I'm representing 352 KCOM out of Fort Meade. I'm a Heritage Preservation Officer, archaeologist in the civilian world. I work for the Navy. Proud to be here. Proud to be here for the Army's 250th.
And I'm Captain Augustine Ortiz, also with the 350th. Also very happy to be here. Specialize in archaeology. Especially for me is underwater archaeology. So happy to bring that specialty into the Army's new Monuments Division.
And as I'm Captain Ammerman, I have a background in real estate development and historic preservation, architectural historian, and have bringing that that skill set to the Army through the heritage and preservation community, through master planning and more strategic planning for the future. So we'll go with Major Swindell since he has the other microphone. Could you kind of give us a little bit of background on your road to joining this program with the reserve?
Sure. I've been an archaeologist for about 29 years. When the opportunity to serve came up, I took the chance. The Monuments program had just been revitalized, and having that experience and that time in archaeology, I decided to try and transition over and do my part as an Army Reserve soldier.
Captain Ortiz?
And like Major Swindell, I'm also an archaeologist. I started off, I got a great lecture while I was an underwater archaeologist here at the Navy Yard by another 38 Golf, which presented the program, talked about it. I got interested, and it's just a great way to bring our expertise and help protect cultural heritage.
And so I got into the program. I was a consultant, had my own firm in historic preservation and city planning. And that I did a lot of work doing National Register nominations, really focusing on America's heritage, and then bringing that skill set to the military to focus on how we engage with other countries and other communities. I would say that this program is as a career is bringing in the leadership in the disciplines and bridges the military and the civilian expertise brilliantly.
Please direct your attention to the main stage.
Yeah, I think we're a good example of, some sort of specialty career that that the Army's decided it needed, and so I think we sort of helped to fill that gap that they didn't have before as government specialists, and having that expertise and having the time, the education.
Right, and the government specialty has been a role within the Army from its very beginning, and it's evolved into the Civil Affairs program, which really took shape in World War II, out of the necessity to bridge the military again and the local communities. Often Civil Affairs officers are referred to as warrior diplomats. That personally was something strong that drew me to the Civil Affairs track, because the concept of diplomacy, but being strong in your position and representing your country is one of the best ways to serve.
Yeah, and so one of our emphasis as monuments officers is cultural property protection all across the world. Wherever there's conflict and cultural heritage is sort of in peril, that's one of the places that we hope to contribute and help the Army with its mission.
Captain Ortiz, you've had some interesting experience as an underwater archaeologist.
Yeah.
Can you Can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, so I started off as a terrestrial archaeologist out in California, and of course, most primarily in the desert. And then I just got the feeling I need to do the opposite. So what's the opposite of terrestrial desert archaeology? And just the logical next step was underwater archaeology. And I did my master's program in the University of Southern Denmark, and then did an internship here with the Navy, and then got hired by them the next year. And now I do emergency management as an archaeologist as well.
And I think that speaks to the beauty of the civil affairs program, as our colleagues who are on previously, is that, and bring back the leaders in our existing communities, is that, you know, as America's Army and as warrior diplomats, we are the people you see every day. We are teachers in civil affairs. We are bankers. We are librarians. We are veterinarians. History teachers, you name it. And so that's really what the civil affair component really brings together and represents America's Army in a different capacity, that we get to still be with our families every day, but also serve our country in a large capacity also.
What have you liked about the program so far?
I just meeting folks like you. You know, of course, we all sort of operate in the same world on the civilian side, but getting to meet a lot of different people, get their different perspectives. One thing I would add, sort of to your, which you were talking about, the variety of specialties, it just sort of demonstrates how the Army has a lot of opportunities for folks. And so no matter what you do, what your career is, I'm sure there's a place for the Army has for you.
Absolutely. Any rounding out comments here, crew?
Nope. I mean,
all right.
If you have special skills, you think that'll contribute to the Army's history and heritage, let's create a better world together, and I know we can do it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
How's everybody doing today?
All right. As you guys heard from our civil affairs soldiers, there are many opportunities available in the United States Army. Whatever profession you may have on the outside, odds are the Army has something equivalent to it. And if not, it's close enough, I promise. Now, I encourage you guys to reach out to your local Army recruiters to figure out what opportunities are available for you. Whether you enlist or commission, there's many, many opportunities there. Now, I've read the comments. I get it. My hair's not the best right now, and you guys really wanted that drill sergeant who was behind me. I'm not sure who he is.
I'm here now.
Okay, angry cop is here. All right. Now, for those that
First of all,
don't know,
don't touch me, guy.
all right, understood.
Weird, inappropriate.
Understood.
So many people on the internet said that they wanted to see me, and here I am. Not because you wanted me to. I showed up on my own. You're not my boss. I do what I want here. By the way, why did you have 2 microphones when there were 4 people you were interviewing? The most Army interview I've ever seen in my entire life.
Hey, but see, here's the thing. We made it work, though, right?
No, you know.
Oh, we made it work.
You didn't. It happened. That doesn't mean it works.
Well, all right.
Is that a ring tattooed on your finger?
That sure is.
Hashtag never forget. Still married?
Hey, that's right. 15 years.
Beautiful. The Army, relationships, build and maintain them. Where's the chat? I thought we were talking to the chat. The chat was saying words to us.
Oh, no, the chat very much demands your presence here. Now I'm questioning. No, but this is good. No, but hold on. I need to know a little bit about you.
Tell me more about myself. What questions do you want to know?
No, I want to know who you are. What's your service like? What got you here today?
All right, there's a lot of questions. What's the first one?
Okay, what got you here today?
What got me here today? The Army got me here today. 250 years, fantastic, absolute mayhem the United States Army is. You know, there's a lot of good sayings about the United States Army. One of them was from a Nazi general, and he said that war is chaos and the American Army is trained in chaos. Yeah. And that's absolutely true. But I joined 21 years ago. I saw 9/11 happen. I wanted to get involved. I did. Yeah. And that's what brings me here today. Plus, I don't know if you know this, I do YouTube stuff. Yeah. So the internet's out there, probably why they blew up your chat a little bit.
Yeah, 100%.
Thought they would say hi to the, I don't know, I guess the drill sergeant of the internet, kind of.
Yeah.
In a way.
You're their drill sergeant before their drill sergeant becomes it, which is impressive.
Isn't it? I've been in for so long that I went on the trail. The trail is code for basic training land.
Uh-huh.
So I go on the trail last year, and the senior drill sergeant, E7, looked at me and said, "Drill Sergeant, hi. Were you a drill sergeant in 2012, 2013? I go, yes. He's like, did you have a senior drill sergeant shell ace? I go, yes, that was my first time on the trail. He goes, you were my drill sergeant. And I was like, yes, I was. Glad that you outranked me. I'll stand at parade rest. Tell me what to do. If you have any questions, I'll help as best as I can.
Now, that's impressive to see, though. Those you trained in their initial stages are now training others to pursue excellence.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what does that mean to you? Because, again, 21 years ago, you signed your first contract. Is that correct?
Correct.
Great. What got you to sign your second, your third? What got you to continue service?
Oh, that's a good question.
I try to ask those.
You know, the Army's fun.
Yeah.
The Army's fun. If you get bored with the Army, change your job, which is what I did. If you ever feel like something's stagnant or you don't like where you are, you can change it. So I started off as a civil affairs specialist. I did 2 deployments overseas like that. And I grew tired of civil affairs. I wanted something to change. So I decided that I would go and become a drill sergeant. And I did. And that was the opposite side of the spectrum, you know, from being civil affairs and growing a beard and hanging out with SF guys and having a good time that way. So it was kind of nice to go in a different direction with my career. And here I am 13 years later, still a drill sergeant, because that's the best kept secret in the United States Army Reserve, 95th Training Division. Join up. We're looking for more fantastic NCOs.
Hey, that's an amazing opportunity for those out there who didn't know it existed. It surely does. Now, how would they join up? Is there a process to this?
All you have to do is, if you're an E4 promotable, or you're already an NCO in the United States Army, you can just Google it. You can contact a local recruiter's office, or you can Google, you can find the closest drill sergeant battalion to your area. And then all you have to do is get in contact with the first sergeant there. And we're hungry for more drill sergeants to come in. The Army always needs more. There's bonuses. Think about it.
All right. Yeah.
And you have a fantastic time training troops.
No, hey, I love that. Now, being on the trail,
yes,
what are some of the more memorable experiences that you've been able to play a part in?
Oh, man.
Or if there was a trainee that stands out to you, a moment with...
We had a crazy trainee. He didn't make it.
Well, that happens.
Listen, tough love. Sometimes people aren't cut out for the Army. We're glad that you tried. We want you to do your best. Sometimes it doesn't work out. He was small. We called him Mighty Mouse, right? So Mighty Mouse was very upset, and he was a little off in the head, and he would punch walls to scare the other privates, to making them think that he was a tough guy. And he was so absolutely nuts that everybody was just like, no, he is nuts. He's going to kill us in our sleep. We need to leave him alone. Eventually, he didn't make it, you know, just not physically fit, not mentally there in the way that he needed to be. So we let him loose. But the first day, before we even did the pickup, they're not even marching. They don't even know how to march on day 0. They're walking to the barracks, and Mighty Mouse raises his hand and says, Drill Sergeant, I quit. And we're like, Private, we're not even in basic training yet. How you can't quit when you're not even in basic training? What are you doing? And he gets a little emotional. We calm him down, and he goes, Drill Sergeant, I forgot my promise. We're like, Private, what does that mean? So, well, Drill Sergeant, I forgot that I promised my grandfather before he died that I would join the Army and I would make it. Like, Private, that's a very important promise. How do you forget that from 30 feet walking this way with 2 duffel bags to where we are right now? Pick up your stuff. Let's move on. That was Mighty Mouse.
That's an interesting individual.
The writing was on the wall for Mighty Mouse. Don't be a Mighty Mouse.
Well, so we have stories of Mighty Mouse. Are there any stories that stand out when you felt like you played a pivotal role in someone's, I guess, progression?
Oh, yeah. Private Friend. Private Friend is one of the most highly motivated soldiers that I ever met in my entire life. Private Friend was not big. He couldn't do a lot of push-ups. Wasn't very fast. Took him a little while longer to catch on to things. But he always gave 100%. If he was struggling through something, it was because he maxed himself out and couldn't go any further, but was still trying to go. And Private Friend got down on himself. Now, drill sergeants, although we are mean and cruel and angry, we also have to build up people. It's not just about breaking people down. We got to build them up into soldiers, the future fighting force of the United States of America. So I build him up. I say, hey, Private Friend, I would take 100 of you over one guy who can do push-ups really, really well. And I said, Private Friend, if I ever ask, where is my friend? You will raise your hand and you will say, I'm your friend, drill sergeant. So I was like, absolutely. You will do that. He's like, yes, drill sergeant. Go away. I tell him to go away. He goes away. Next day, everybody's kind of moping around because they messed up. Got to do some corrective action. And I'm noticing it. And I'm like, where's my friend? Where's my... And Private Friend raises his hand. I'm your friend, drill sergeant.
What the heck?
Where are you, Private Friend? I'm your friend, drill sergeant.
What
Yes.
the heck?
Oh. Yes, Private Friend. Yes, you. you are my friend. And that became a sense
What
of
the
motivation.
heck?
I like
Now,
that.
everybody rallied around Private Friend because they knew Drill Sergeant High was upset and not motivated. Private Friend would motivate me.
Yeah.
So his fantastic level and high level of motivation, I was able to use that, even though he wasn't as physically fit as everybody else, to motivate the entire platoon that I ran. And he was a stellar soldier.
I love that for you. Now, advocating for the trail, what does it mean to you to encourage those NCOs to fill the shoes that you will one day leave behind as a drill sergeant?
Ooh, I don't even goosebumps. I don't even know if I'm ever going to put down the hat. I'll die wearing the hat. I'll be 70 years old running 30-minute 2 miles as a drill sergeant if I can. But it is one of the most rewarding things you can do. If you don't like the way that the young troops are coming out, you can change that. I have a direct effect on what comes out of the training pipeline to you. And it is so rewarding and humbling and motivating when you can take a group of fumbly dopes that we all were when we didn't know how to shave, when we didn't know how to march, we didn't know how to sound off or be motivated, even if it was fake motivation.
Hey, false motivation, still motivation.
Still motivation, baby. And you turn them into a troop.
Yes.
Somebody that not only can pass basic training, but has potential to do more. It's extremely rewarding, and I absolutely love it. Plus, it's one of the most entertaining jobs you can have.
I believe it.
Everybody has drill sergeant stories. You can be that story for another troop.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I'll keep funneling you the troops, and you keep training them.
That's all right. We'll get one on the other side.
Hey, I believe one day, maybe. I think we have a question.
Let's do it. Question from the field. I believe that the cutoff date for the reserves and guard is around 42. You can get in with a waiver, maybe up to 45, but I know like 40, 42 is the cutoff.
Yeah.
But you can get in with a waiver for the reserves or the guard, especially if you're in like a specific field like medical or legal.
Yeah.
You're never too old. You're never too old to join. When I went through basic training, I went through in 2005, and we had a 40-something-year-old mother, and she was motivated by her son who served and deployed overseas to join, and she was a legal aid. So she came on, she did basic training with us, graduated, set the standard, very motivating, and she served in the, I believe it was the reserve component while her son was active. So no, there's no such thing as too old, unless you're 45. Then
Then it is.
all right, then yeah. None of them. None of them.
Come on.
No,
The maple sausage.
penne pasta.
He said none of them.
Penne pasta.
He said none of them.
You know what I mean? Am I wrong?
No,
You're looking at me like I'm crazy.
It's decent. It's decent.
Should I say veggie omelet? Did you ever meet one of those freaks that likes veggie omelet? They're not real. They're mutants.
It's the skills you get with them.
This guy is
Do
funny
the
as
Skittles
hell.
come with? Nothing good comes with the veggie
I'm just
omelet.
saying.
You can't sell me on a veggie omelet with Skittles.
But penne pasta, that's your go-to?
Spicy penne pasta was good. It's been a while since I've had an MRE.
Okay.
Usually I just starve myself.
Well, there you go. That's one route to take.
Yeah.
Now there's the new pizza one. Have you tried that?
You're kidding me.
I've never tried it.
What is going on here? Like a
Pizza?
Lunchables?
No, this is an actual MRE. I believe. If
Oh.
I'm wrong. I think there's a pizza.
Is it like
MRE?
This was
Really?
the question.
It's
What
good?
MRE is your favorite?
A square pizza.
So is it like the piece of bread that they give you like in the normal MREs? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And they just say put some pasta on it. This is some poverty pasta going on here. Poverty pizza.
This
I know.
guy's funny as hell.
I'll eat it. You know what? You're hungry. You'll do anything.
Yeah. Yes, at that time.
Hoagie bait.
Well,
Hoagie bait. Always shove jerky in your pocket. Always bring jerky. Always bring jerky.
On the go.
This guy's funny
it's
as
not in your
hell.
bag, it's just in your pocket.
Raw.
And you're good to go.
Like Napoleon Dynamite, like in the spaghetti. You know, I'll kick your pocket and all of the stuff will fall off.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, it's all right. I'm very scary. I
This
understand.
guy is funny.
It's the hat.
I got
You're
scared.
outside. You're not wearing a cover. I understand
Oh,
why
my
you're very
God.
sweaty and scared of me.
That's the sweat, not
There's
the
a
heat or
standard.
90-degree humidity. I promise. Hold on.
Oh.
We are here celebrating again, like Army's 250th birthday.
Big deal.
Now, what does it mean to you to have
Yes,
contributed for
happy
21 years?
250th.
At least 13 of those contribute to the formations that were
Thank
built.
you for
since
your
then.
service.
That's huge.
You know, although what you're saying is absolutely correct, I focus on the minutia of what I can control.
Okay.
So
that's good.
when I see a large parade like this, does it motivate me to know that one or two of those troops could have been mine down the training pipeline? Yes, it does. But what motivates me the most is when I see that graduating class, and they're going to go get spread around to every unit, whether it be, they're going to be some honor guards somewhere, or they're going to the 25th, or to every unit, whether it be, they're going to be some honor guards somewhere, or they're going to the 25th, or the 101, or it's a National Guard unit or a reserve unit that they're going to. When I see that graduation mass, that's when I see the impact that I have.
Good. Now, are there any stories you have or anecdotes, any stories or anecdotes from graduation days? Now that the trainee has become that soldier, and you see them embrace their family or their loved ones, and you know how much it means to them, are there any kind of engagements you had that kind of stand out?
No, I stay away from the graduation day.
Yeah.
No,
teary-eyed?
You're a trainee. Yeah. I'm glad that you made it through.
Oh man.
I am not going to be your friend.
Yeah.
No, I'm here to train you. I'm not here to be like, you know what? Your son didn't do too great when he started, but I'm proud of him now. No. There's no removal of the mask. No. You did what you're supposed to do. Good. And then I walk away. And then they get to do their own thing.
I love that.
I stay in my lane. Yeah. I stay in my lane. Would you want your drill sergeant hugging you at the end? Ew. Ew.
Well, I'm better off a recruiter, I guess. No, but I appreciate your time.
Do you hug your trainees when you assign them in at MEPS? You're like, good job.
No, but I can't wait to come back after experiencing a drill sergeant and be like, I told you, you'll get it through. I promise.
The high five and like the family moment is for the recruiter. You got him in, he's done. Like I'm like, my training's done. God bless. Drive safe.
No, hey, that's fair. That is fair. And send it back home to hometown recruiting, and we'll take it.
Oh yeah.
There. Yeah, that's important. But again, if there's any outgoing call that you like to give to the audience members, again, our audience is veterans currently serving or those aspiring to serve that may need that push
This dude is
to
funny
get
as
themselves
hell.
down to the recruitment station. Is there any message you like to give to them?
You're never going to regret it. Active component, guard if you don't want to go active. That's your active, or excuse me, reserve or guard if you don't feel like you want to go active. You can always change that.
Yes,
you can always change that from guard to reserve and go active. You're never going to regret it. I always tell people my goal when I was in 5th or 6th grade was I wanted to go to college. How was I going to pay for college? The Army, GI Bill. No matter what you do, basic training is going to take the negatives that you have, erase them, and they're going to take the positives that you have and embolden them. You're going to come out of training, even if you only do a 4-year contract in the reserves, a better person. You're going to be durable. You're going to be more understanding of what it's like to push yourself through struggles. You're going to be motivated. You're going to look at people that are around you. And I do get this from trainees every once in a while when they graduate and I see them. You're going to look around the civilian population and go, oh my gosh, I'm like 10 miles an hour faster than everybody right now.
Yes.
Mentally, even physically, because some people don't run. And we'll help you with that, United States Army. Yes, we will.
This is true. This is true. Hey, thank you so much for your time. What you do for our formations, even though, again, I get it, it's more of those graduation things. But when I see those individuals out there coming to our formations, trained and ready to do what we need of them, is from people like
We're gonna
you
go to
who
this
take that
here real
time.
quick.
We are back with you looking now at pictures from inside the Capitol Visitor Center. This is what traditionally would be outside on the east front of the Capitol, but with a lot of today's inauguration related activities brought inside, this is what's known as pass and review. This is where an incoming president makes a symbolic review of the troops of the U.S. military. Traditionally, this would be something we would see kick off the parade, leaving the Capitol headed down toward the White House. So instead, this will be occurring at this point. President Donald Trump will come in and perform this ceremonial duty and then head on to the Capital One Arena, where again, there will be other events taking place this afternoon in lieu of that traditional parade. So this passing review, this is something that we traditionally see as part of our inauguration activities. It is consistent on the schedule. It's not a really intensive inspection of the military, but again, it is considered to be something symbolic and is a traditional sort of duty for the commander-in-chief or the official in charge of the military to give them a look over, since as president, that also comes with that the commander-in-chief duties and the person who is atop the United States military forces. So we are seeing all of that taking place here in the Congressional Visitor Center. And shortly, we do expect that we will see President Donald Trump coming into this space to participate in passing review before he and Vice President J.D. Vance head on to the Capital One Arena. For the past more than an hour, they have been taking part in the traditional Inauguration Day luncheon, also on the Capitol complex. And you were looking at some images of that earlier. That event recently wrapped up. And so this is what's next here on our schedule. Let's listen in as it gets going.
Honor, go! Attention! Ceremonial! At ease! Hold, take at ease! Stand by. Attack. Attention. Honor, guard. Attention. Hold, right, shoulder, hold. Hold, ready, hold.
We see President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump entering the area where the passing review is taking place. So let's listen in as the newly incoming president does his official inspection of the U.S. military forces. Back the next.
Troop interview. Attack! Present! Arm! Sir, this includes first time. Ceremonial. At east. Order. Stand by. Attention. Honor, guard. Attention. Hold. Right shoulder up. Hold. Ready. One. Commanders, take charge of your units.
We are back with you, looking now at pictures from inside the Capitol Visitor Center. This is what traditionally would be outside on the east front of the Capitol, but with a lot of today's inauguration-related activities brought inside, This is what's known as pass and review. This is where an incoming president makes a symbolic review of the troops of the U.S. military. Traditionally, this would be something we would see kick off the parade, leaving the Capitol headed down toward the White House. So instead, this will be occurring at this point. President Donald Trump will come in and perform this ceremonial duty and then head on to the Capital One Arena, where again, there will be other events taking place this afternoon in lieu of that traditional parade. So this pass and review, this is something that we traditionally see as part of our inauguration activities. It is consistent on the schedule. It's not a really intensive inspection of the military, but again, it is considered to be something symbolic and is a traditional sort of duty for the commander-in-chief or the official in charge of the military to give them a look over, since as president, that also comes with that the commander-in-chief duties and the person who is atop the United States military forces. So we are seeing all of that taking place here in the Congressional Visitor Center. And shortly, we do expect that we will see President Donald Trump coming into this space to participate in pass and review before he and Vice President J.D. Vance head on to the Capital One Arena. For the past more than an hour, they have been taking part in the traditional Inauguration Day luncheon, also on the Capitol complex. And you were looking at some images of that earlier. That event recently wrapped up. And so this is what's next here on our schedule. Let's listen in as it gets going.
Honor, go! Attention! Ceremonial at ease! Hold, stand at ease! Ceremonial at ease! Stand by. Attack. Attention. Honor, guard. Attention. Hold, right, shoulder, hold. Hold, ready, hold.
We see President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump entering the area where the passing review is taking place. So let's listen in as the newly incoming president does his official inspection of the U.S. military forces.
Free, and guard. Attack. Free, set, guard.
Back the next.
Welcome to the Army Birthday Festival, celebrating the United States Army's 250th anniversary. Please make your way to your seats to enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our host for today's Army Birthday Festival, the Deputy Chief of Staff for G357, Operations, Plans, and Training, Lieutenant General Joseph A. Ryan. The theme for this year's Army Birthday is This Will Defend, and for over 250 years, we have been the defenders of our nation's liberty, both here at home and around the globe. Generations of courageous women and men, truly great Americans, has stepped forward in times of peace and war to answer the call to duty. Together with our allies and partners, and with the unwavering support of you, the American people, we will continue to be the nation's first line of defense for another 250 years. On behalf of the 100,000 women and men, military and civilian, who make up our service, welcome to Washington, D.C. and the 250th celebration of the United States Army. At this time, please stand for the presentation of colors and for the singing of our national anthem, performed today by the United States Army Band, and remain standing for the invocation given by Army Chief of Chaplains, Chaplain Major General William Green.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, please bow with me as I ask God's blessings upon this 250th birthday celebration. Let us pray. Almighty God, as we gather to celebrate the 250th birthday of the United States Army, we pause to remember where we've been and who we are. And we express our heartfelt gratitude to you for the brave men and women who have served and are serving the United States Army as a force of freedom and a light of liberty at home and abroad.
Heavenly Father, we remember their valor in the American Revolution and campaigns where your guiding hand established the foundation of our freedom. Continue to strengthen our soldiers' body, mind, and spirit as they train to fight and win our nation's wars. And Heavenly Father, bless our Army's leaders, our families, and the American people. Bring comfort to those who mourn as we remember our promise never to forget the cost of freedom. And Holy God, lead us both now and forevermore, and let the light of liberty continue to shine bright on the United States of America and our Army, and we to fight and win our nation's wars. Also, this we'll defend. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Platinum Plus sponsor, Wounded Warrior Project Vice President for Government and Community Relations, Jose Ramos.
Hello, my name is Jose Ramos, Vice President of Government and Community Relations at Wounded Warrior Project. It truly is an honor to be here today as we celebrate this historical occasion, an occasion that brings together the many achievements of our past, shaped by the service and sacrifice of all those who have served our country. People are the strength of our military. They are the strength of our nation and the strength of the United States Army. 1 year older than the nation they defend, the Army has dedicated itself to fighting and winning our nation's wars for 250 years. But it is not only just soldiers who serve. Since 1775, U.S. Army soldiers, civilians, and their families have supported our nation, bearing true faith and allegiance to our country, the U.S. Constitution, and the Army. For over 250 years, Army families have served and sacrificed to support the Army and their soldiers. And for that, we are deeply grateful. It speaks to the enduring truth that truly serves alone. There is always a brother and sisters in arms with you, a family member who encourages you, a community who cares for you, and organizations like Wounded Warrior Project who stand ready to support you while you serve and as you transition. Caring for our people is at the heart of Wounded Warrior Project's mission, just as it is for the Army. And we are committed to keeping the promise we made to warriors and their families who serve, a commitment to be there no matter what, so they can enjoy a healthy and fulfilling life of service. We can find great support and solace in those who walk alongside us in challenging times and in moments of great celebrations like this one. People are the strength of the Army, and across the nation, Army families are integral part of the communities they serve. Today, we celebrate that strength and look forward to a bright future together. Today, I say, happy 250th birthday, Army.
Now a word from Gary Sinise, founder of the Gary Sinise Foundation, today's entertainment sponsor.
Hello, U.S. Army. Gary Sinise here. Happy 250th birthday to the U.S. Army. 250 years. Amazing. To everybody who served in the Army, who is there, who has served in the Army, currently serving in the Army, welcome. We are happy to be sponsoring the entertainment of Scotty Hastings and Noah Hicks today. The Gary Sinise Foundation has thousands and thousands and thousands of donors who all care about our military. They care about our service members. They care about our U.S. Army, and they wanted to be a part of this great, great event in celebration of 250 years of the U.S. Army. I am a grateful, grateful American for all you do to defend freedom, to protect our country. And God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the entertainment. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Representing presenting sponsor General Dynamics, please welcome the Executive Vice President for Global Operations, Danny Deep.
Thank you. So the United States Army has served the nation with distinction for 2.5 centuries, fundamental to the birth of our great republic. Values like service, courage, and duty are reflected in this iconic institution because they are personified in the brave men and women who serve our Army and our nation so dutifully. Events such as today celebrate many incredible milestones the Army's achieved, heroic stories, great sacrifices, great stories of victory. But what makes this celebration also special is where the Army is going. Army leadership is truly driving a transformational change, maybe the most consequential in generations. And if you listen, really listen to where they're going, those of us who are partnered with the Army are inspired. And it should absolutely be clear to those who are not on our side that they should be afraid. The Army's determination to accelerate and embrace technology to become faster, lighter, and more lethal will be our North Star. General Dynamics embraces this transformation, and we will continue to do everything in our power to ensure the Army can see further, decide faster, and act decisively with lethal and definitive force. We will not rest as we know you never can. We will not delay because we know you have no time. And most importantly, we will never, ever lose sight of who we do this for, the soldiers of our Army, those warriors who do all of the heavy lifting. For us, there is no higher calling than protecting those who protect us. For 250 years, the Army has shaped our nation and preserved our way of life and been at the center of winning the nation's wars. Our commitment at General Dynamics is to make certain that our forces have the very best. I've heard it from so many soldiers, so many officers over the years. None of us wants a fair fight. So on behalf of General Dynamics, to those serving in the Army today, those who have come before you, and those who are yet to come, happy 250th. Thank you for everything you do to keep our nation strong.
Representing presenting sponsor USAA, please welcome President and CEO Juan Andrade.
Good afternoon. It's an incredible honor to join you today as we celebrate a historic moment, a moment that's 250 years in the making, the Army's birthday, and the enduring legacy of those who have worn the uniform with pride. I want to recognize all of the Army leaders here today. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for your service to our nation. Before we could become the first constitutional republic in world history, we needed the Continental Army to fight for independence. The Army was formed more than a year before the Declaration of Independence because the fight for freedom could not wait. That spirit of readiness and resolve helped to shape the Republic, and it continues to define the Army to this day. Readiness is the foundation of the Army's success. For 250 years, this institution has stood ready to protect our country, to lead through change, and to serve with honor. The Army's strength has always come from people, from soldiers who rise to the mission, and families who stand behind them. Because readiness does not happen alone. Behind every soldier is a family, a spouse, a partner, parents, children who serve in their own way. Your support is what enables our soldiers to stay focused, knowing that the home is safe and secure. At USAA, we are proud to play a role in that support. Our story began more than 100 years ago when 25 soldiers joined together to insure each other's vehicles when no one else would. But what brought them together was not business, it was trust. And the rest, as they say, is history. Today, the spirit of trust and integrity lives on in a community of more than 14 million strong, military families from every branch and every walk of life. But our purpose remains the same, to help the military community be prepared for what's ahead, financially, emotionally, and practically, so those in uniform can stay focused on their mission. We are deeply grateful to all of those who serve, past and present, and for the families who stand beside them. Your commitment to this country is unmatched, and we are proud to support you every step of the way. As we honor the Army's past, we also look with confidence at the future, knowing that the next generation of soldiers will carry forward with the same courage, integrity, and innovation that has defined the Army for 250 years. Happy 250th birthday.
At this time, we would like to recognize the generous support of all of our sponsors for helping make today's Army Birthday Festival possible. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'd like to acknowledge and thank the sponsors of the 250th Army Birthday Festival.
No, I don't. And come through the security checkpoint at 14th Street. But you see a lot of people are lining up. Our vantage point is the south side of Constitution Avenue, and that's what the Army said would be the best place to view the parade. And we are at the far western end of the parade. We're just at about 22nd Street Northwest. The parade starts at 23rd Street, and you see folks just kind of trying to take some shade, hoping it doesn't rain. And Joe, keep spinning around, and we'll kind of keep coming to the right. You can't see it. The Lincoln Memorial is, just to give you a point of reference, Lincoln Memorial is just up the road here behind these trees. And as we look here, you'll see this is Constitution Avenue that is closed right now, obviously, and has been for a couple of days. But if we come off to the right, Joe, come here, just let people see down the street here. You got DC police here, US Park Police. You've got Secret Service there manning the checkpoints. You've got also the U.S. Army has soldiers all over. And so anybody you see here on the roadway are credentialed security and first aid folks. But across the way, you see those folks across the way there. That is the north side of Constitution Avenue. And you can actually get all the way up to 23rd Street, right where the parade starts. But on the south side, which again, the Army said is the best viewing, this is as far west as you can get. And the parade will start coming through here right around 6:30, 6:40, and it's going to be a parade of period pieces, basically soldiers from the Revolutionary, Civil, World War I, II, Korea, Vietnam, and the war, the Persian Gulf War, the war on terrorism. So kind of in that order coming through here. And again, you see police are here kind of maintaining order, and everything's been fine so far. Joe, come on this way. We're going to go introduce you guys to Dr. James Mann, who is one of the soldiers here. Dr. Mann, interesting. Tell our viewers what you do in your real world.
Yeah, so I'm an Army entomologist, so I study bugs for the Army. So basically it's preventative medicine, so helping soldiers stay safe here and abroad. In my current role, I'm at Army Public Health Command, so I'm responsible for the facilities east of the Mississippi and pretty much any soldier that's assigned to an Army installation east of the Mississippi.
What are you doing today? I see you giving out a lot of information. You got a map here. Tell me about it.
I'm part of the volunteer task force we have out here, helping people figure out where they need to go and what to see and where to find various things like the restrooms, as well as water refill stations. So just information about the parade that they might need, like the start time, different things that are in the parade, and just things to see while they're here.
You must be happy to be here, and people are ideally saluting you for your service as well, I'd imagine.
I'm very happy to be out here. I'm proud to serve in the Army, and 250 years of history is no easy achievement. There's a lot of work and teamwork that goes into making it 250 years. And I'm happy to see our various soldiers reenacting all the way from the Revolutionary War up to the modern day. And we're going to have, a lot of different things for you guys to see, including the former Army Air Corps. We're going to have P-51s. We're going to have different bomber aircraft out here. And then we're going to have all the way up to the future. We're going to have enlistees and future commissioned officers going to be walking through, kind of giving you the 250 years of history plus the future of the Army.
Great. Thank you very much, Dr.
Yeah,
Mann.
appreciate it.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for talking to us. And I also want you guys to meet a veteran. This is Rod Joseph. He is a veteran, a Purple Heart recipient. Tell me, you say you live in Florida. Why did you want to be here today?
I come here to support the president, the commander-in-chief. He got one. So he called for support for the parade. I'm coming to bring my support to the commander-in-chief.
It is his birthday, and he's going to have some remarks afterward in the 8 o'clock hour. We gather, and then the Army Golden Knights are going to do a parachute jump to the ellipse, hand him a flag. There's going to be a concert, fireworks later. Are you looking forward to seeing what's going to be passing us here soon?
I'm looking forward to see the 82nd Airborne Division. I'm looking forward to see my fellow paratroopers, my fellow and the future soldiers also, because we have a lot of future soldiers that are going to be marching. People, some cadets that's going in the future, that's going to take the world to secure this country. So I'm going to say thank you for their service, because that's the way for them.
And you mentioned the Commander-in-Chief. It is his 79th birthday. A lot of people here think this is really a celebration of him. What is it in your mind? Both, or really for the Army and coincidentally his birthday, or what?
It's just coincident, because the army is older than the country. The country is 249 years old, and the Army is 250. So the last time we have a celebration like this is 1991, after the Gulf War. So today, if you look at this aspect, for people to marry that with his birthday, he wasn't choose to be on the birthday of the Army, but coincidentally, and he's president. Prior him president, nobody remembers his birthday. But because of that, I think he's a good honor. We need to start personifying things, put that aside, because we're a country that needs to be united. This is not division to take us nowhere. Forget about he's a commander-in-chief. He's here for 4 years. We vote for him. The Constitution allows him to be here for 4 years. We're gonna follow what he said, and for as long as he's not outside the Constitution. But the parade is for represent the whole Americans. He represents the U.S. force everywhere. There's no soldiers that don't appreciate that, because what a great army we are, and everybody keeps celebrating the day, Army Day, World War II. We always training from the inside. It's good to showcase for the public. It's a good of also more boosters, because our country is facing a lot of challenges these days. It's one day for us to put everything aside. Let's appreciate the service members and then say thank you and happy birthday to the president. Whether you like it or not, he's still 79.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. Thank you for your service. I appreciate it. And I want you guys just to kind of take a look. Joe, get on up to the fence here and just kind of let people take a look here. This is Constitution. You're looking west. The parade route will start there and go about 8 blocks to the ellipse, the White House. We were thinking perhaps from here, Guy, we would see some of these soldiers assembling, maybe some of the heavy machinery, the tanks and what have you, but they're out of range, really. They're kind of beyond where the public, where we can, take you until we start seeing them in the next couple of hours as they start marching down here along Constitution Avenue. And so far, so good. I mean, getting down here, Guy, we passed a bunch of people, including right outside the TV station, doing their No King's Day protest. So Rod Joseph, the veteran we just spoke to, yeah, I mean, the people coming down here are proud and happy to salute our Army. Happens to be the president's birthday, but the sense you get is that this is not a uniform frame of mind in this area today. A lot of people have been protesting on the streets, saying what this is a celebration of a quote unquote king, and that the ICE raids of recent days have been troubling. But down here, the folks you see here are ready to salute our military and the president, and we have not seen any kind of discord or anything like that in the short time we've been here. Well, short time, a couple of hours, as we wait for this parade to begin. Guy?
And boy, will it be a sight to see. Getting in Bob Barnard reporting from Constitution Avenue. Truly appreciate you, Bob. Great work as always. All right.
Thank you, Guy.
We'll take a quick break. On the flip side of that break, Madeline Somerville joins us next, right here on America 250.
Soldiers get it confused because it's named the same, but they're not the same program.
I thought they were. I thought they were.
Exactly. I honestly thought it was the same too when I came to the program. But TAP is a transition program, and it is an amazing opportunity, and that all soldiers have to go through it, right? So that's the difference. The new name for TAP is Army TAP.
Okay.
And they have a website, Army TAP.
A rebrand brings clarity.
Correct.
All right. So the Soldier for Life program, is there anything else you guys would like to tell the audience, the many soldiers out there who are currently in service who may not be aware of what you bring to the table? Any kind of words of advice?
I want you to know that you are always a soldier for life, right? You join, keep that in mind. Share that with America. Let them know. You guys are the ones that bring the soldiers to the Army. You guys are the ones that will make the next generation of our service.
That's true. Their strong testimonies by being cared for, with strong leaders on the way out being set for success is huge in their testimony when they advocate for the future generations.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, hey, thank you so much, Major. I appreciate your time. And as well, please go out there, check out your local Soldier for Life programs, as well as the online portion to provide all the resources and opportunities out there that you may not.
Present
King's Day protests, one of many taking place right here in Bethesda. We just had a report from our very own Bob Barnard down there at the along Constitution Avenue. Apparently, he didn't see any protesters there as well.
So I passed the same protesters that you pass coming into, with lots of homemade signs and things that you would typically see at protests. I think it's very interesting that the choice to call it the No Kings protest coincides perfectly, actually, with what's going on today. It was as a political strategist, it was a brilliant way to name it. So in our Declaration of Independence, and the reason why our Army was founded in the beginning was to fight against kings, right? We were there to first, because as the gentleman said before, actually we had an army before we were a nation. At first it was to try to make sure that our rights from the king were honored. Then it was to make sure that we were free. And so it's actually perfect that they decided to call it this No King's Day protest, because it was part of the founding of the Army itself.
Yeah, I can tell you from what I saw and from what I've heard thus far, it remained peaceful. Yet again, that protest taking place right outside of our building, right here in Bethesda. Let's focus on the parade itself and the significance surrounding this parade. I mean, 250 years in the making. I love just saying that, because you're not going to get a chance to say that every day.
You are not. So I think as a political strategist, when I look at what Trump's message is, right, what he's trying to communicate to people, I think what he's trying to do is link himself in the public consciousness with America, right? They're one and the same, because it's his birthday and we're celebrating this today. It could be just a coincidence. In fact, I think it is. But the significance of that is he can stand there and say, I am America. When you think of this word, think of me. Overall, though, and the way I would like to feel about it is that it is an opportunity for us to come together, even through all of this. I remember actually one time my mom was driving me and my brother home from school, and it was right after 9/11, and she had put a little American flag on her car, and the flag fell off, and 2 cars behind her stopped to try to pick it up for her. And it was just a moment that was so beautiful to acknowledge that we're all in this together. And so I'm hoping to see more moments like that. At the same time, it's incredible for people to be able to exercise their right, their First Amendment right, and to do so peacefully and in a way that I hope that the president will acknowledge is part of what makes us American.
We touched on this earlier, and that is, yet again, obviously, there's folks that lean to the left and folks that lean to the right. Did I do that the right way?
Yeah.
This left, this is my right. And so with that being said, today is a day that we all come together and we all reflect and celebrate yet again what this amazing military institution has been able to do for some 250 years.
Yeah. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen in the parade today. I know we've got 6,700 soldiers, and we have at least 60 people manning the tanks themselves that are coming down Constitution Avenue. So it's going to be crazy.
And we can't forget about the dog.
I love the dog, Guy. Sorry.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a sight to see. I am really curious yet again to hear what the president has to say as well. What message do you think he should deliver to the American people?
I think he should deliver a message of unity, Guy. I think that's the most important thing he can deliver to us right now, because he is the president of all Americans, and he understands that there's a lot of turmoil right now. He is also a president who cares deeply about what his approval ratings are, and somebody who's a really good showman. And so I think we've seen him walking back a few of the policies that he's been trying to institute recently. I think he might take that opportunity today to talk about those things. He doesn't always stay on message. I hope that the culmination of all of it has to do with unity, and I hope that it has to do less with him personally and more with America itself and honoring these incredibly brave men. My favorite motto of ours is "Land of the free and home of the brave."
Sure.
It's my favorite. And so I hope we can turn the messaging around to that.
Some have argued that this parade, if you will, and this celebration is being used as somewhat of a distraction, if you will, surrounding perhaps some of his failed policies.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, I'm curious, what do you think will happen next, or what should happen next?
So it's very interesting because I was on a different show a few days ago, and while I was talking, it looked like President Trump is actually walking back those policies, acknowledging the humanity in a lot of the people who were being removed, right? People who lived here peacefully and kindly, and how they were working in industries like the service industry and the agriculture industry, and it was significantly impacting that. So, and also, this is the lowest dip in his approval ratings that he has seen since he's been president, was right after those raids that happened in LA. And so I think what he's probably going to do is start walking things back. That's sort of been a theme throughout this presidency so far, is here's a policy, maybe I went too far, I'm gonna walk that back a little.
Sure.
And so I think that's what we're gonna see. And I hope that we can start with the messaging of unity comes truth. I hope that what we can hear from him is actually things in LA aren't so bad. It's just violence within a few blocks, and we can put our trust in an American institution like the LAPD to tell us the truth about what's going on and to handle things.
Yeah, you heard me pose the question to the last gentleman that I had on the show, and that is with regard to America's might. It's going to be on full display.
Yes.
Specifically with the Army.
Yes.
The way other countries will look at that, a good thing or a bad thing?
So this is the only military parade the United States of America has ever had that's not linked to a victory in a war. So the one that happened in 1991 in Desert Storm, after Desert Storm was a victory parade. There was one when we entered World War II, and then afterwards. It's not linked to any war, any victory. And so it truly is a display. That's what this is. Now, do I think that Americans in general are suffering with an identity crisis to where we could seriously use a moment to unify behind something we can all get behind? Absolutely. But I think that because it is his birthday, I think it's going to look like he's sending the message that I am America now. That's and I know words like authoritarian get thrown around, and I'm trying to give as neutral of a commentary as possible. So perhaps it doesn't make that message, but it certainly optically, as somebody who studies persuasion, will cause that to be the message in people's minds.
Yeah, and yet again, that will become a reality once we see those 28 Abrams battle tanks making their way down Constitution Avenue. Can't forget about the flyover. I'm really excited about that as well.
I'm so excited too. Actually, so funny story. So I was flying in a helicopter for the very first time, and I was terrified. And I walked up to the guy who was flying it, and I said, "Hi, I'm Madeline. I've never flown in a helicopter before." And he was like, "Hi, I'm Brian. I fly Black Hawk helicopters." So I was like, "I will call my mom and tell her that I will be just fine."
and you are, because you're here.
Yes, I was just fine. But it speaks to the amount of trust and confidence that we have in our military and in the people who operate these incredible machines.
Yeah, one thing's for sure, it will be a celebration unlike any other. You can watch it yet again right here on Fox Local. We'll take a quick break. This is America 250.
Pretty heavy, huh? Huh? Leave your shot on there for a bit. Not that many. Push your name. You're fine. Yeah. Have they talked to you at all?
I mean, why not? Today is about having all the fun, right? I mean, that's what this is to show off everything that the Army has over the last 250 years. But right now, well, this is modern day Army. C.W. Sinclair's with us here. Tell us a little bit about what we're sitting in, because we know the Army is on display, but there's 50 aircraft, and this is just one of them.
Oh, this is just one of them. This is a UH-60 Lima Black Hawk. This is what we use for a multi-role platform that does everything from medical evacuation to air assault operations to cargo movement and sling loads. We can actually carry cargo underneath the aircraft. So it's a very capable platform to do a lot of things on the battlefield and how we support the warfighter. So it's definitely a terrific asset for the United States Army. And, this is the current workhorse of the Army, I like to say, but it's definitely a good platform. It's a ton of fun to fly, and it's a great opportunity to be here to support the Army birthday and be able to showcase this aircraft.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty amazing. I can now say I've been in a Black Hawk. I wish only we could take it up and go around, because this is also what we see going around DC all the time. And I'm always just amazed at being able to see like the military just on display. What does this celebration and everybody kind of coming out here mean to you?
Well, it's terrific because from a community outreach standpoint, it's really important for us to understand what America's Army brings to the fight and the different technologies that we're leveraging and where we're shaping future battlefields and future battle space. So it's really important to be able to show the public, which we don't always get to do. We don't really have really cool air shows that we get to participate in and things like that. So this is really really key to show everybody all the different platforms and also show everybody the depth of the U.S. Army. There's a lot of missions here. There's a lot of war fighters here. There's a lot of capability that we bring to the fight for the Department of Defense and our country. And it's a great opportunity to showcase this, certainly on our birthday, right? Certainly on our 250th birthday, but it's a wonderful event.
They just had a cake cutting up over there. Do you get any of that?
No, not yet.
we need to see if you can snag us some.
Yeah, well, we can go ask, right? We can go ask.
So there's also some other aircraft right around here. I want you to go up and shoot the aircraft right up in front of us here. Come out and tell us a little bit about what we're seeing up here on this one over here.
Okay, so our aircraft belongs to the Maryland Army National Guard, and it's a UH-60 Black Hawk, but right in front of us is an AH-64 Apache attack helicopter who belongs to the North Carolina Army National Guard. And it's an attack platform that's designed to take the warfighting functions to the battlefield, take that to the enemy. They can do a lot of different things with their aircraft to engage the enemy, but that's their main goal is to engage the enemy, to leverage their weapon systems and their weapon platforms, against enemy targets, and that's their focus.
That's the one that's not messing around with anybody.
No. You don't mess with that one. Yeah, you shouldn't mess with this one either, but yeah, don't mess with that one.
And then we have, to my understanding, is another one over here that might be just maybe a little bit older, but a different version of the Apache.
Yes, ma'am. That's an AH-1 Cobra, and this is sort of the Gulf War variant, the first Gulf War. This is what they flew as an attack platform as the Apache was coming out. It was coming into service in the early 90s. It was relatively new. The AH-1 Cobra was sort of the attack platform of the Army during that time frame. And it's also a very effective and it was very lethal on the battlefield as well. So it's another attack platform that's just excellent.
So we have the parade coming up very shortly, 6:30. Of course, we will be bringing you all the activities for that. What are you most looking forward to when this does take place?
I'm looking forward to the chance, the opportunity for the public to see all of the different equipment on display. I think that's really key. If we're going to showcase the Army, to have all of the different military equipment on display and flyovers and things like that. So it's very important to have that.
Okay, I want to get on up in here. I want to try and be the captain of it. We got like a kid going in. I don't know. What do you think, Guy? Do you think I could take over the controls for this?
I think you can. Not only that, but I think you can also bring me back a piece of cake if you get one as well.
We're going to see. C.W. Sinclair said she's going to effort the cake for us. They want some cake back in the studio.
Cake in the studio. I'll do my best.
A man of honor. That's what everybody in the military is on the
fly it. We could fly it over if we need to.
I mean, look at that. He's going to get the cake. He's going to fly it in the Black Hawk straight to the station for us. That is called honor and commitment. We thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
I really do kind of want to go up in one of these. You will see a picture. I can't right now because there's a baby in the controls. The baby is captaining this flight right now, which could be very dangerous. But I'm going to post a picture later of me up there because, I don't know, I like to captain things. What can I say, Guy?
And you do it oh so well, Julie.
When I take those controls. Yeah.
Live from the National Mall. Truly appreciate you.
Of course.
All right, guys, welcome back to this special edition of the Fox 5 Live Zone as we celebrate all things U.S. Army. Yes, today we are acknowledging and celebrating the 250th birthday of the U.S. Army, and we'll do so in the form of a parade set to get underway later this afternoon. And all some 6,000 plus soldiers you're going to see march down the streets of Washington, D.C. 150 military vehicles. Oh, by the way, a Black Hawk helicopter as well. And those cool flyovers. It will truly be a sight to see. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Mr. Arif Halaby, Republican political strategist, back here on the Live Zone. Good to see you, sir, and happy 250th Army birthday.
Great to see you. And I never thought on the 250th anniversary I'd have a family member actually in the Army. As an immigrant to this country, my father, it was a big deal for him to not have us in the military because where he came from, it was a scary event. In the Middle East, but now he couldn't have been more proud to have part of his family in the Army. So what an exciting event. I can't imagine 250 years. Can you imagine? Every single country in the world celebrates its military in some form or fashion, whether it's France and Bastille Day, or whether it's, of course, in the Soviet Union on May 1st. There's always something happening historically in the world with their military, and it's nice that we get to do that as well.
Yeah, the key word that comes to mind for me happens to be patriotism. I'm thinking about how it feels to be an American right now and how we can celebrate all things surrounding, well, let's say the institution that really protects us all and allows us to remain free.
I think it's an amazing time in our history where there's a kind of a flip happening in the political world where middle class and minorities are now flipping more towards the conservative side of the spectrum. Billionaires and large corporations are flipping towards the open borders and the left-wing side of the country's politics. So that is interesting. Of course, the lawfare that is happening every time you turn around, whatever President Trump says, they're going to sue him on. So that's an interesting, really aspect to what most of us think is a free society. It almost seems as if we're trying to have two branches of government instead of three.
Yeah, Eric, but you know, as I sit here and I'm thinking, I mean, obviously you lean to the right, others lean to the left, and then as we both stated, there are folks that are right there in the middle. Isn't this a day that we should put all of that aside and celebrate our amazing Army?
I think it is, because regardless of who's in the White House, we would have still had, I hope, a celebration of 250 years as an Army. I mean, think of what we can do in the military today that just 50 years ago we couldn't. 100 years ago, it was unheard of. From satellites to telecommunications, communication back and forth to the front line, and listening to our soldiers really explain and understand that it's a bit, well, a lot more of an equal time, right? From the Tuskegee Airmen to today, and listening to women in the military serving as combat pilots, doing amazing jobs in leadership. I don't think that would have even been a thing 25, maybe 50 years ago, right? It's incredible to see how America's Army has really turned into something that we can be proud of.
And then there's the flip side of that coin. We do know that today a number of protests are underway, in this case, the No Kings Day protest. I'm curious, yet again, you served as a LA police officer at one point, correct?
Yeah, in 1992 riots, and in 1991, people don't know, but we had countless riots in Westwood and in West LA where I was stationed. In fact, my very first week getting to that division, I'd been on about a year and a half, and I get over to that division in 1990, and all of a sudden everybody's, we're wearing our helmets. I'm like, this is just something we did in training. Now we're doing it almost weekly. So it was a very big change. And today we see this No Kings rally as part of the left's approach to really neuter President Trump.
So we know that in America, we can't exercise the First Amendment. There's nothing wrong with having a protest. The concern surrounds, let's just say something turns violent. And the reason why I brought up your past history is because as a former officer, I'm curious, what steps will be taken and should that happen?
Well, in any of the left-leaning cities where their mayors are more on the liberal side, you see a lot of leeway given to protesters. In fact, I think too much leeway. Being on the front lines, I can tell you, there isn't a line that they appreciate or that they adhere to. It just doesn't happen. If you back up a little bit in the law enforcement world, the void is filled by the bad guys. And now we know it's an organized group, right? It used to be no oligarchs. I think they couldn't spell oligarchs or it wouldn't fit onto the sign. So they had to switch, is it a Y or an I or a C or K? So they just changed it to No Kings. As they're going to see how far that goes. Look, this is a very, very well-organized protest. We saw it when I was on the job 35 years ago. There was easily an organization through ACT UP LA and then the Occupy movement and then the BLM and Antifa. So we saw this. It's the same group, same underlying group. Now it's very paid very well. It's on Craigslist. They're advertising. It's reported that the pay is actually quite good if you're protesting. And if you're arrested, you actually get a bonus, believe it or not.
Yeah. Well, yet again, we know those happen to be the paid protesters, but I'm curious from your stance, are you okay with the protests actually taking place, those exercising their right for free speech?
We loved it. Yes. In fact, it was a very big deal. You would occasionally see officers, especially when we were doing a lot of the anti-no AIDS funding from the state. And a lot of officers are part of the LGBTQ community in LA. And so even on their days off, they would go out and walk the streets or stand on the corners with signs. Never a problem. It's the blocking of the roads that we had a problem with, because then you had accidents, you had people that had to get to doctor's appointments, people that were visiting elderly patients as home health. And you saw this really clogging up interstate commerce and keeping people from enjoying their day, their weekend, whatever it might be. And I think that's a problem. I don't mind, never do we ever mind standing on the corner, honking horns. That's part of it. But I think the difference is this group today is really about violence, or at least on some of them, certainly not all of them. The bad guys get in the middle of it and make a big mess, just like we saw the handful in January 6th really turn that into a crazy melee. We saw the same thing happen a few nights ago. And the president didn't even bring in the National Guard until 2 days. So Karen Bass was like saying, oh, the president, aggravated the situation. That wasn't until 2 days after things were burning. So it was well in time for sure.
Yeah, one of the things that strikes me, and then we can move on, is that when someone has an issue, and so let's say they have an issue with this administration, in this case, we've seen the anger taken out on law enforcement. And yet again, that's truly troubling. That several years ago would have been you, sir.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I have been in lines before at Century Plaza Hotel where they thought the governor was staying. It was a decoy. He was actually staying at another hotel in West LA, but they had put out, leaked, if you will, to the press, poor Century Plaza Hotel owners. But we had indicated somehow that the president or the governor was staying there. And so the protests got quite violent. Started with picking up plants and throwing flowers that out of the ground, with the roots attached, and hitting officers in the head and the face. And then it got very violent because they didn't allow us to push back. And we said, listen, this is getting worse. If you don't stop it now, it's going to get worse. And certainly it did. And the lady standing next to me, an officer, was quite injured, probably never recovered because she had major back surgery. And she was in her mid-20s. So I don't think she's ever been the same. And that was, 30 years ago. So it can be violent. And I think when we leave a void, it's filled by bad guys because that's just what they do.
Yeah. Yet again, we are stating that if you do plan to protest today, to make sure that you do it peacefully. Eric, we'll end with this, and that is your final thought on, yet again, the U.S. Army celebrating 250 years.
What a moment of pride and patriotism. All of us, the left, right, all of us can understand that the U.S. Army is there to protect us, and it's to protect us here and abroad. It's to give us the sense of, superiority, even though our force is a lot less than it might have been during World War II and some of the other peaks of Vietnam, et cetera. But the men and women who served with distinction and with honor. And to have that be honored today in a bipartisan.
Awesome. And talk about the motivations. I mean, who you're coming with.
I came with my son, Chris.
Why was it important? What you saw this on the calendar? What are all the motivations and things that you wanted to come out and see and celebrate?
Yeah, so I'm patriotic. I wanted to celebrate the military's 250th birthday. Wanted to celebrate Donald Trump's 79th birthday. And I wanted to see the military equipment and the flyovers and things like that. I honestly also wanted to see some protesters. We're not going to see any. They're too afraid to come out, but wanted to see that, up close and personal.
Yeah,
so,
and definitely I think there's some throughout today, but I think they're in a different section. A lot of them went to other cities across the whole country, and you've heard of that term, the No Kings. What do you make of that protest? What would you want to say to a protest?
I don't know I don't know anything about the No Kings. I assume that what it means is that they don't want Donald Trump acting like a king, and he's not. But I assume that's what they're talking about. But their mentality is, kind of low, and I don't really know what their motivations are. I frankly don't care, as long as they don't, do anything more than a peaceful protest, which they always go beyond. So
not every single protest has been
not
peaceful,
every single one, but based on what we're seeing in LA and other places, it's turned way too violent.
So talk about some of the cool interactive activities you and your son have been able to do here. Describe it, like for someone who hasn't been able to come, you're catching them up on all these pieces of equipment you've stood on or touched, or all these different cool things you guys have done.
Well, we haven't, he's 17, so it's not like he's going to get up on all the equipment, but we've taken a couple photos like the one you helped us take in front of the tank, taken some pictures of the helicopters and things like that, but we haven't gotten on anything.
Is there any other highlight of any of the vendors that you've seen, the historic guns? I mean, one of the cool aspects about this is it's celebrating all 250 years.
Right.
There's a lot of eras that go into that, from the Revolutionary War till now. I mean, what era may you be most excited for?
I'm most excited for this era with the technology and the military superiority that we have. And it's amazing to see some of these vehicles up close and know that that's what we're providing our fighting men. It's great. So.
Yeah, and I think it's so important. I mean, the U.S. has such a presence across the world to help protect the peace and help our allies in combat areas. I mean, I think it's important to always be on the cutting edge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And hopefully we'll continue to be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoy the parade.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
No problem at all. Take care.
Yeah, you too. And hope you guys stay cool. It's a hot one today. Cheers.
This is ceremonial. Is it the president? 3, 2, 1. I'm going to take another one. Another one.
Video. Live to the world.
Oh, live. No. What channel are you on? What channel?
The Associated Press. We share.
Are you standing back by internet?
You know, like the satellite trucks back in the day. That's this.
Oh, satellite trucks now.
Yeah. How are you enjoying the festival?
Oh, this is my first time.
Oh,
I'm actually living in Virginia.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Such a big milestone, 250 years. Have you done any fun activities at the festival itself here? Like out in any of the pieces of it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's pretty neat to like put your hands on it.
All right, nice talking to you.
Likewise. Take care.
Yeah, where'd Michael go? There he is.
Stand over here, though, girl. Stand over closer. So he'll be big. Okay, right there, right there. One more, ready? Okay. I don't think so. I don't think so. No. No.
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Pardon me.
I'm sorry.
Have fun 250 Press. Who are you with?
I'm with the Associated Press.
Oh,
It's
nice.
just the
Are you
regular-
rolling now?
Yes, going on. Oh, no. Oh, no, that's the whole point.
This is what freedom tastes like. I'm going for